have heard from you about your personal circumstances and your personal decision on now looking in time to leave the police, hand in your warrant card. Um, we'll come in a moment or two to what it is you'd look to do outside the being a police officer. But what would your observations be as a currently serving police officer about the state of policing, the motivation of officers of your broad length of service, and um, the, the challenges there are for policing to retain experienced police officers beyond their sort of midpoint of service?
Um, that's a really, really good question. I think it does require considerable thought because there are many nuances which drive people or individuals to want to leave the police. And I know paying conditions are cited as a main reason, but for me and for the people that I've spoken to recently who are in a similar position, the significant thing that is driving people to consider life outside of policing is just because, as I say, they do not feel supported within the organisation. The organisation is very good at looking at an individual problem and applying a sticking plaster without having any long-term solution. And that's not necessarily a criticism to its leadership, so to speak, because they are constrained immensely by budgeting and the way that funding to the police service is decided. It's very, very short term, so you know you can't make any long term directional or considerable changes because of the short term pressures that it faces and not knowing what the budget is going to be like in the next spending review, etc. So that, but again, as another angle, they are of the position where they chose to take that mantle and should be able to grapple with those problems. But how that relates back down to the front line in terms of my thinking, since joining policing in 2006, I think I've been subject on the front line to probably 6 or 7 different operating models. And we see the wheel go fully round. So we started as omnicompetent officers, where we're responsible for picking up, investigating crimes, dealing with prisoners, presenting case files to the CPS, doing all your general policing duties, stop search, road traffic, you name it. You were an omnicompetent, fully capable officer. Because of some of the austerity measures that came into place, that was segmented, and we developed silo policing, where you had one group that would do response, one group that would do the secondary investigation, one group that would do prisoner processes, blah blah blah. So you became very de-skilled. You became very good at what you did in a certain function, but then you became very de-skilled in others. And then we went back to being omnicompetent again because of some of the pressures around austerity, and we're now going back again, tweaking these models. All these models are being tweaked in a very, very similar way, and it's kind of like the rose-tinted view of policing, in that everything was better in my day, and this worked well when I was response cop, so it must work well now, without actually looking at the data or some of the fundamental key problems that are underlying in policing and trying to apply some long-term fixes. I think we might be getting there in some of the cases around right person, right care. And if you want me to explain a little bit more about that, that's about trying to deal with.
Separate videos on that, but yes, carry on. Sorry, I'm
Yeah,
interrupting you.
so
Carry
it's
on with.
trying to adjudicate that when that call comes into the police, what's the right team, what's the right person, or what's the right organisation that's going to do that. Again, there's going to be difficulties around that because if you're a follower on social media and you follow Michael Brown, mental health cop, who was very, very, very influential and a great advocate for that area of policing, he has some genuine concerns around this, and this should be taken seriously. Unfortunately, as with everything in policing, it's taken with a pinch of salt because the new thing that's going to fix us is this. Inevitably, whether it does is dependent on its application. So I think you kind of become bogged down in this cycle of wanting to do the right thing, trying to do your bit in as a small cog in a huge machine, and then actually you come to the realization that, well, am I actually making the difference that I want to make? Am I supported with some of the things or ideas that I have? Does the force or forces allow for that critical thinking, that critical application of new ideas in a regulated, disciplined, structured service, which is very much becoming target driven again, as opposed to a holistic approach to trying to fix some of the problems.
there is so much we could further explore, and
Yeah,
maybe we will have the opportunity further to explore that. But um, limited time only on this conversation that we are recording here. I do want to take an opportunity, or give you rather an opportunity to set out briefly what it is that you are looking, or that you would be looking to do outside policing. So, the point at which you hand in your warrant card, you are no longer a police officer. What are you looking to do
yeah.
once you do that?
And again, having spent 18 years in policing and only ever knowing policing, and having set my mind to that career pathway, trying to find what I would actually be good at is as difficult as making the decision to
Okay,
leave.
I'm just going to.
Go on, sorry,
I'm going
Bernard.
to come in briefly there. I'm going to come in briefly there because uh, one of the very earlier pieces of work I did was looking at uh, the life for police officers after policing
Yeah.
many years ago. But I think the factors still apply. And the key message from that was police officers do not realize the depth and breadth of skills, knowledge, expertise that they have that applies hugely outside policing. It doesn't just mean that they are skilled and able only to be a police officer. So, with that, I wanted to say that not just for you there, Lee, but also for those that are watching, you have enormous skills. Delighted to be here again with Lee Broadbent, Sergeant in Greater Manchester Police. We've recorded some content, Lee, that explains some background to campaigning work you were doing whilst you were uh, GMP, Greater Manchester Police Federation Chair, and some of the reasons why you are now looking to hand in your warrant card. And just in this uh, latest video. Just like to hear from you as to what it is now that you are looking to do, uh, having handed in your when you choose to what hand in your warrant card.
Yeah, it's a huge area, and as I sort of picked up on, we have a tendency in policing to undersell ourselves because I've been aligned to policing for 18 years, and so the difficult decision to leave policing then brings on the reality. Well, actually, what skills have I actually got which are transferable into the bigger, wider world, and it leaves it open to there's a tendency to just revert back onto previous experiences before entering policing, etc. I think I'm open to pretty much anything, and I think there's some of the skills that I've picked up in regards to communication, some of the skills in resilience, data analysis, project management to a certain degree. The pension challenge was a huge project which spanned 4 or 5 years to almost completion now, and I've been involved in it along the way. So but also I feel a huge affinity to policing and to public service because it's all I've known. We give up an inordinate amount of our time to service and help other people, and I think it becomes a part of who we are. And I think that in itself is so transferable because if you can buy into a particular area, whether that be social work, whether that be charitable work, which was huge interest, given my experiences around mental health, etc. Um, Servicing other people is a great benefit, and if you buy into the idea, if you buy into the product that you're ultimately joining, then the skills that you have in that determination to do the right thing for the people that are in your care and control um, it is immense. And so I think something
You've got
along that.
you've got a passion for public service. That's clear. You've actually got a passion for policing, although. Some of your experiences in policing have led you to lose some of the passion that you have there. That
Absolutely, yeah.
I suspect may come back. I just want to just observe here. I previously have um, in work I used to do looked at the skills, knowledge, abilities that police officers in general have, and how transferable they are. And the there is no question that what you and those others as police officers learn in policing is enormously transferable. Many police officers do wonder whether there is any sort of life for them outside policing, and the answer is absolutely yes. Though, of course, society needs police officers to stay
Mm.
and to continue to be passionately positive about the work that they are doing. I think, if I may, one thing that you've left off the list there is campaigning, and a further
Yeah.
thing that you've left off the list is public speaking and communication. There's a long, long list. Um, Lee, thank you so much for that. Thank you for your remarks on the campaigning that you've done previously, on the state of policing as you see it right now, and indeed on your own personal the future that you're aiming to develop for yourself. Um, if watching this, you are in a position to assist Lee in what he's looking to do, or indeed have thoughts on that, do contact me, contact Policing TV. Feel free to write comments should you so wish. But for the time being, Lee, thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best in your search for what is right for you.
Thanks, Ben, and thank you for affording me this opportunity. I'm really, really appreciative. Thank you.